Welcome to another Enjoying Art watercolor landscape painting lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to focus on the techniques, how to create the main objects and the background relationship. And I also want to talk more about how to lifting colors when the paint's still wet on the paper. Before we start this lesson, please give this lesson a like, share with your friends, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future watercolor painting lesson like this. Let's first plan how much we're going to leave it for the ground. And I'm going to think about could be the ground, and the trees, it will be over here. I'm going to have the tree a little bit more coming to the right hand side. And maybe have a little big stop over here, like a one tree and a little gap. And there will be the mountain in the back. And I'm going to let go mountain tips in the back over here, a little bit easier in the background. Okay, I'm going to have a very simple primary drawing first. So think about this would be the bottom of the tree, like that. And there will be the tree star over here. And there will be the focal point. There's the tree, right over here. And whatever you're drawing right now is only for your idea, like that. That will be interesting. So in the back, I'm going to have that it coming right over here, like that. And then coming up, and some little changes. But make sure the value contrast is not a lot in the background. So I'm going to also have some blue color coming up over here, and leave the top over here to be white. And I think it looks really good. I'm going to start from this sky. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to wet the paper and the top over here, make it a little bit softer. Like that, coming all the way to the tree. I'm going to leave the ground to be dry at this point, because I want the top over here to be a little bit softer. Now I'm going to lift up the excess water. Just use the paper tissues. I'm going to let go. I don't really need it that much. It's just a little moisture. That's good enough. This is good. Now I'm going to paint it with this 1.5 inch flat brush. I'm going to just get a little blue color. Start from the sky. Like that. Make sure enough water, enough color. Okay. That's good. And I'm going to start right over here. Just look at the space for the sky. Look at the cloud. Like that. Coming down a little bit on the edge over here. So the shape of the mountain's a little bit flat. Now I'm going to let go of the paint and just going to have just a little bit softer, because this is going to be for the cloud at the top. Like that. That's good enough. Maybe have a little bit coming out over here. So give little suggestions. That is the cloud. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to start walking into the distance mountain. So I have a little red color, so feel a little bit like a cool gray color. That's good. Now I'm going to start over here. Okay, coming up like that. Just twist the angle for the brush. That's good. And on the bottom over here, I'm going to have a little bit blue, just like this. You can have it really fast coming through like this. And that's good. Keep that. I'm going to have a little bit blue right over here. Just add a little bit brighter blue, and but I don't need it so much. Just have a little transition, a little bit softer. Okay, like that. Nice soft transition. And that looks good. I'm gonna have this remove that a little bit. A little bit over here coming in. And I'm gonna have a little bit blue color coming in over here. A little bit, make it feel a little bit darker. Okay, like that. I'm gonna have a little bit color coming through over here. Like that. That's good. And maybe a little bit over here, and that's good enough. Now I'm gonna leave the top alone for now. Now what I want to do, I'm gonna paint it the front. And also watch out for the dryness in this area. I want to have like when it's 80-90% dry, and I'm going to start painting the tree. Now I'm going to have this green color for the ground, but I don't want it to be so bright, so I have the complementary colors. A little bit like this. This is good. Now take a look and start over here first. And then on the back over there, I'm going to leave a little white space at the front over here. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to have a little bit red first. Now what I want to do, and I'm going to have a little bit, just a little dry brush. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to have a little bit more yellow at the front. That's good. And on the top over there, and the top over there, I have a little bit more like a brownish color. So I'm going to get a little bit red color in here. So you feel a little bit more brown. But I don't want too much colors, so let go enough water. Just the edge over here. That's good. So I have a little impression that going into the background. And the same thing over here on this side. Even though the tree may be covered, but and now in the front over here, I'm going to have a little bit more yellow. Okay. Create a little texture. Like that. A little bit. And when the area is still wet, any water texture touch it, it create the marks, create the suggestions, and create the meaning and whether or not you intentionally create that or not. Okay, like that. Texture. That's good for the watercolor. So over here too. Now this is getting dry, so I'm gonna ready to go back to the background over there. I'm gonna hit this a little bit softer first. Now I'm gonna come to calligraphy brush. I'm gonna mix the blue color with the red color. And the darkest area is in the trees. I'm gonna get a little yellow. So make it feel like a little bit more greenish. So that's good, like that. Now I'm gonna take a look. First one. Put the color in here first. And then come back later. Okay, I'm gonna get the brush a little bit dry. Let go some of the water. Like that. That's good. And then coming onto this tree. And then here you go. Just put the brush down a little bit. You can see that. Like this. I'm gonna focus on the group, and this is another group. And then this bigger group now coming over here. Have a little bit yellow. Here you go. Put the color here first. This is called dry brush. Now I'm gonna try to organize the shape, make the shape a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to start a little bit lighter. So let's see, this need to be a group together, right? So this need to connect together. And now this need to be connect together. Right here. And leave a little gap over here. Like that. Here you go. That will be fine. Could be different, but it will be okay. Okay. Now the trees shaped is already pretty good over here. I'm gonna have this a little bit solid and have this color coming up a little bit. Okay. Now at the bottom, I'm gonna have a little bit darker as is the shadow. Right over here. Like that. That's good. Make it a little bit softer. Like that. Okay. Now coming back to this side. There you go. Now I have a very nice design already. I'm gonna continue having a little bit dark color in the shadow side. That's good. I will come back to do some details after you drive a little bit more. But at this point, I'm going to add some even darker color on here. Okay, like this. A little bit darker color. A little bit changes. Give a little bit suggestions of a little detail, little branches. Like this. Nice. Now I come back to the front over here. It already have nice texture over here, so I'm gonna have just add a little bit. And I'm gonna use the toothbrush to create some texture. And I first gonna have some reflection of the mountain into this space. Right over here. Good. Like that. That reflected the color from the mountain. Okay, that's nice. I'm gonna have a little bit dark color next to this white shape. Make it a little bit more intentional. Like that. I'm gonna have a little bit colors on this side too, like a little extended of this shape. That's interesting. Now I'm gonna come back here, have a little bit of the shadow of this, make this a little bit more like a form. It's nice. I'm gonna get the toothbrush and get a little bit darker color. Get a little bit red mixed in here. Before I do that, I make sure I have well cover the top. I'm gonna have the dot a little bit bigger. That's good. I'm gonna start lifting for some details. I'm gonna use this round shape flat brush. And I'm gonna start lifting a little bit light shape right here. Because it's still wet, so you just lift, you don't need to add water. Look at first and get the inspiration. Okay. Now coming up here. That's good. So lifting up, you can do that when it's still wet, but not too wet, or after it dries. When you do it after it dries, you need to wet the space, loosen the color first. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little bit more texture. Depends on how much texture you want. Sometimes you want it to have less, sometimes you want more. So I'm gonna add some little detail to it after this painting drive to the tree. Okay, that's good. I'm going to have a little bit darker green color. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit more yellow, have a little bit red, like that. I'm going to have this color a little bit darker right underneath the tree, like that. And I'm going to add a little water. Now here you go. I'm going to make this white space a little bit more, look a little bit more intentional. That was good. I'll come back with a large brush. A little bit. A little bit more. Just glaze over. That's good. That's good. Just keep thinking about the color interaction. Just think about the color balance. Just get a little bit of the light green color. At the same time over here, I'm going to lift up the color and the light side of the tree. And just move it and replace the color. That's good. Now make the tree feel a little bit more dimensional. I'm going to start having a little darker color into the tree, the shadow side. Here you go, like a little bit here, and a little bit darker on this side. Like that. Okay, a bit more. Okay, coming on this side, I'm gonna have, and this is still a little wet, which is good. Okay, on this side, I'm gonna have a little bit darker. Sometimes you have to do it when it's wet, or sometimes you have to wait until it totally dry. Depends on what kind of result you're looking for. Okay. After adding a little shape, so also at the same time you want to shrink or modify the shape that you lift. Okay, that's good. Like that. Maybe a little bit over here. Make it a little bit softer. It's a little bit kind of consistent, so I'm going to have some color a little bit higher in the back. So I'm going to do too bright, so I'm going to, that's good. I'm going to have this a little bit higher. So it's break the rhythm.
like have it a little bit higher here. Here too. That's good. I'm gonna have the dry brush. Same thing over here. Okay. And have a few drive line at the bottom over here. I'm gonna have this a little bit higher, so I'm gonna do a little lifting. After the lifting, I'm gonna fill in the color, the little green color.
If you like this kind of landscape painting lessons, please turn on notifications and share with your friends. I will see you in my next video.